This is a film projector, specifically the Canon 8mm and Super 8mm Scene Projector S400. I have for years wanted to get my hands on an 8mm projector, and I finally have after digging through my grandfather's drawers and asking very nicely. I thought I would take some time just to see how this thing works and share that with all of you at home. So, in this video, I'm going to explore the entire process of 8mm filmmaking, from shooting the film to projecting it. Let's get to it. Cool. Now, to actually talk about this process, we'll need to start here with the Canon AutoZoom 518 SV Super 8 camera. Now, this is a fairly simple Super 8 camera in terms of all other cameras that exist out there, but I think I find some beauty in its simplicity. If we take a look through the viewfinder, you'll see a few things. The main thing being this row of numbers sat along the top here. If I lightly pull on the trigger just about halfway, you'll see that black bar start to move and dance around. That is telling you what is an ideal aperture to set your camera at. As a reminder, your aperture determines just how much or how little light is passing through your camera lens. Focusing is fairly simple. This outermost dial on the camera actually controls your focus, so when you twist that, that'll help you focus on whatever object you're shooting. And in general, the best practice is to zoom all the way in on whatever object you're trying to focus on, twist your focus dial until it is in focus, and then zoom all the way back out. If you don't want to zoom manually, there are these telephoto and wide angle switches that will let you zoom with a motor. Cool. There is also your frame speed. Typical 8mm movies are shot at 18 frames per second. You can also choose to shoot at 24 frames per second, which is pretty standard for most movies. Or there is what's labeled as slow motion, which really is just shooting at a higher frame rate than 24 frames per second and playing it back at 24 frames per second. Most consumer Super 8 cameras like this can take 50 feet of film at a time, which, if you're shooting at 18 frames per second, gives you about 3 minutes. But say you've sent off your film, you've gotten it developed, and you have a positive of what you shot. Now it's time to look at it. One of the main components of this projector is the light bulb, which shines a lot of bright light in this direction so that the film can be seen on the wall clearly by everyone in the room. I've taken this piece off so that we can see the light bulb a little bit more clearly as the film spools through. Cool. Right now the film is running at 18 frames per second, and its speed will change depending on what I do to the projector. If I spin this dial towards fast, the film will move faster. If I move it towards slow, it will move much slower. And if I actually hit the slow motion button, it'll move very slow. And the light bulb actually got a little bit dimmer. That's because if the film were to accidentally get stuck while spooling through, the light bulb actually burns so bright and hot that it would start to melt the frame of the film. It's important to keep the film moving so that it doesn't burn up. Really, the main other component of note in this projector is the lens that amplifies the size of the film frames. By twisting this, you can actually adjust the size that is being projected onto the wall, and with this dial, you can adjust the focus of the lens so that everything will be projected to you in focus. I guess that's fairly self-explanatory, but you get the idea. That's really about it for this projector. It's a cool little device, and I'm super happy that I got to show it off. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I might make more content like this in the future, so any kind of support is appreciated. Now, I'm gonna go turn this thing off before I blind myself. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.